Hey, Noodle Yeti here from the future, the editor. This is a quick preview of what the episode is going to be, but it's unintentional. I just wanted to give a quick note before the episode started. I had put in almost an hour of work into the city, and then something happened or whatever, and the save file was corrupted and I had to restart from the beginning. It was unfortunate, but it really killed my motivation, and I still had the head cold, the weather's still dry and whatnot, so it was really difficult to find that motivation, but I have found it now, so I will be back with motivation in the episode after this. I just wanted to apologize ahead of time in case I didn't sound as inspired or motivated. Hey, I'm Noodle Yeti, and welcome to the 5th part of a city I'm building called Westdale. Last time, I believe we had detailed the city. We didn't make any effort to reach the next milestone. And I'm not quite sure what we had incorporated into the city before that, but I know for this time, I want to try and hit that milestone as soon as possible. I will be filling this in. I don't think this is enough to reach the next milestone. It looks like we're not even 3/4 of the way to the next one. So I'm thinking for the neighborhood after it to extend it off of this onto this main road until it reaches this main road here. And I want to try and start mixing up the way these roads are laid out. Possibly go from, instead of long like this, to turn them on the other side. So anyways, it'll take me a little bit, but for you it's probably just going to be a split second for it to all happen. I'll be right back. So right off the bat, I've noticed it's been taking a little bit longer for some of these homes to zone in. And I bet you as soon as I put this one down, it's going to prove me wrong. But as you can kind of see, it's taking a little bit, even though we're at half demand. So it makes me think something's going on with the city. Maybe some of our demands aren't being met. Maybe don't have enough electricity or water or something. Something's going on that's causing people to not want to move in as quickly. So let's go ahead and add that. And hold on a second here. I think our district names are messed up somehow. Lake District, the name for it's all messed up, so I think I need to restart the game real quick. So 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright, I am back and the district names are fixed. All I had to do was restart, and what the heck? When did a fire happen? What in the world? Did that happen when I was doing the residential? All that detailing I did burned to the ground. My goodness. Well, at least it's gone now. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our city services to make sure we're doing just fine. Looks like we might want to increase electricity, maybe by 1 or 2 windmills for now. I think that'll be fine. Water and sewage are doing great, but garbage is not. Maybe that is the reason. So I'm thinking it might be a good idea to create kind of like a city services area over here. And I think last time I had mentioned that this interchange and this roundabout are going to start breaking down due to traffic if we don't think about expanding and adding another interchange. So I was thinking that instead of putting farms here, I'm just going to dedicate this entire area to city services. But we do want to keep in mind that we want to create an overpass for the highway that can land safely and then cross the river again. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that out and put down the new recycling, or the second recycling center. I will see you on the other side. Alright, so I've got our new recycling center placed down, and I have this kind of laid out just a little bit. I know some of the city services buildings are pretty big, so I kind of wanted to leave most of it open, just so that way we can kind of react after we place some of them down. And I also left quite a bit of room between here and the freeway to create a nice overpass. And then let's go ahead and check out some of our other city services, see if we're falling behind anywhere else. Fire is definitely looking a little low, and I'm thinking I'd like to add the fire station over by our main farmland over here. I know I just put down all those roads and I ended up just putting the fire station right here, but I figure we're going to get some other... Look at that, all the homes upgrading. I think that is exactly what we needed. Was actually just a little bit of either more land value or fire coverage, and all of a sudden everybody is now willing to move in. So that covers fire apparently. Brought it down about 10%. I'm cool with that. Crime, 9%. Not even half of jail capacity, so that's doing perfectly fine. As far as leisure goes, I'm not too worried about these homes over here, because I know once we fill in this city, this kind of like town hall area, where we'll have the city hall, government offices, and a few parks around here, that'll definitely be way more than enough for these neighborhoods around it. But as we did see when we looked at leisure, this commercial area is struggling even though it has this Korean food market here. So I'm thinking we're just going to go real cheap at the Paradox Plaza here. 1,000. It costs us 1,000, only $16 a week for 100 entertainment. And look at that radius. I absolutely think that is incredible. I think we'll just kind of put it down right somewhere in the middle, and then we'll figure out how to work around it later. Didn't quite give us a perfect coverage, but it looks like it helped out a lot. And I think that's about everything we can look at for now. So I think I'm going to go back to zoning in residential, and if I have to run into, well, I'm pretty sure I will have to run into outlining the new neighborhood, I will start the time lapse from there. Alright, so I have this next area laid out here. Unfortunately, due to the awkward sizing I had chosen, I wasn't able to fit another row down this way, but that's okay. I kind of flipped these to the side, so it'll still look uniform, at least if you're at City Hall and you're looking off to the left. And I have a little bit of a way that I'd like to lay this area out as well. So I'm thinking of doing 4x3 houses along, or 3 wide houses along this road here. So that way people at City Hall who are looking over don't quite see that the houses over here are going to be a little bit more compact. And I'd like to do this all with 2 wide, 3 wide, and 1 wide homes in here, just to increase the density a little bit. And we'll, oh, farm has reached level 2. Very well. We will go ahead and think about that later. Just to kind of hide the fact that, or sorry, just to give us kind of like somewhat of a affordable housing area, or a low income neighborhood, whatever you'd like to call it. But I want the 3 wide ones on this side, so in case whoever's working at the city hall or whatnot has an official from another city over and they look over, they aren't immediately led to believe that all of our low income is in really tiny houses. Kind of shady, but I mean, it's kind of what politicians do, so I'll go ahead and start zoning this out. Alright, so our residential growth has slowed down to a crawl. I'm thinking that's because we're going to need to add more industry now. So looking at this image here, what's before us, this general industry off to our right here, I think I want to start dezoning some of the general agriculture buildings and replacing them with farms. Not in this little area, but first of which to place over in this area. And I think I'd also like to put at least one little tree farm back here for our little area of forestry over here. And then when we dezone these, there'll obviously be more room here. And I think in the future, when we need more industry to create a higher need for residential, we can go ahead and place some of the farm things in there, like the things that process crops into flour and turn them into animal products, things like that. Or even place I think there's a bakery or something that I think we just got. If we look in here and then in unique factories, yeah, bakery. And it looks like it fits pretty neatly in here. So once we start filling some of those demands or start creating some of the things that would allow us to put that stuff in there, I think we'll put the bakery in there. But for now, I think I'd like to dezone some of these and replace them with farms. Now, to be mindful of how many workers in our demand right now, it appears that each of these agricultural places hires 16 uneducated workers. And I believe if we come over here to our small crop fields, they hire 20 workers, some educated, some uneducated, some well-educated, and one highly educated. So a nice spread of different education levels. So we can go ahead and do that because we do, after all, have an elementary school and a high school now. So we can go ahead and dezone some of these and replace them. I do not want to get rid of all of them. They are nice and they have their own purpose. So I will go ahead and get into that now. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into expanding our industry. So I've added a little bit to our farmland over here. I've kind of finished out the road network in a place that I'll be happy with. I've dezoned quite a bit of our generic industry. And I've also added a few more farms over here, as well as some tree plantations for the little bit of forestry industry we have over here. Owner Westfield, it's importing. Yes, we're still importing, and we're still importing as well. So we still don't quite have enough production, but this is kind of a neat practice to show you how much you need to produce to cover some of your processors. We have 2 farms and 3 processing buildings, and it's still not enough. And look at that, from the fire, the plants have all grown back. That's pretty nice. So as you can see, all this agricultural industry that we still need to change, or at least figure out how we're going to support it. Oh my goodness. All right, well, that was actually unexpected. We hit our milestone. I thought for sure we didn't have enough residential demand for our population to keep growing, but here we are. We are ahead of schedule here. Well, at least ahead of my attention. But we could buy a new tile. We can do an airport area, which we're not going to do because the airport area is a huge airport. We don't need anything massive. We got transit. Now that is important. And we also have postal service we have to think about as well as highways and interchanges, bus-only roads, tram roads. We have a lot to think about. Oh, we really have a lot to think about now. We have a cemetery, we have elder care, we have child care, we have buildings to support our new transit, we have another green energy source, advanced wind turbine, we have water reservoir. That kind of gets me thinking it would have been really nice for them to include maybe like, I don't know, batteries or something, a large city electrical storage, just in case, you know, you wanted to go green energy like I did, but it turns out that weather affects it. So anyways, so yeah, we got some pretty neat stuff that we can think about and implement. So I think the first thing we want to start doing right now is cemetery, child health care, or pediatrics as most people call it, and adding in transit. So I think to start, let's get out of this traffic view. First things, ooh, fire already. Look at that. Ooh, and it's a tree that's on fire. Anyways, so let's not let that distract us for too long. We finally get to add another building to our medical campus. I'm thinking right here is perfectly fine. After we upgrade this road, we can add some parking stalls right here. And then we're going to want to consider how we want to lay out the other buildings in this area. I think I want to put the cemetery off over here, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm going to be cheesing this. I do not care. I think not having a crematorium or a way to empty the cemeteries is completely lame and a ridiculous, an absolutely ridiculous limitation. I mean, after all, for garbage, we get a recycling center that helps us empty landfills. So why do we not have something to... Another fire already. What in the world is going on? Oh my goodness, the whole city over here is on fire. Well, not much I can do about that. Everybody's still upgrading, so everybody's still happy, I guess. So we got the cemetery, we got the child healthcare. I don't know where we could put geriatrics, if I'm being honest with you. Maybe we can put it over here next to the school. We can put it back here next to the library, so that way the elderly can walk to... Ooh, but that might be too close to... Why does the cemetery need water and electricity? I think I'm actually going to create a little bit of a unique area here, just for the elderly. And we'll go ahead and throw them over here with their entrance off of that road, and we can kind of put some trees and stuff there later on, but not now. And then we have a post office we have to worry about now. This one I actually don't want to put over in the city services area. I kind of want to put it over here somewhere. I'm thinking maybe right about here. So the reason why I'm thinking about here is because I know I want to fill in some of my commercial demand. Oh, a thunderstorm. Fires and thunderstorms. So I'll just go ahead and lay out the commercial over here and explain it as I go, I guess. I want to have this commercial here as a sound barrier between the residential and the industry. And so I feel like if people are going to be walking over here anyways to get to commercial, they'll be walking to the post office. So something I've done is I kind of deleted some of these until only the ones I wanted came up, and I made those historical. The reason because I want to kind of protect this. I don't want these commercial buildings to level up into these giant 2, 3, 4-story buildings that overlook into the residential. I think that's a little silly. I wanted to keep them kind of low to the ground over here. Alright, so we got our post office, we've got our pediatrics, we've got our geriatrics. Ooh, that is a serious thunderstorm. Hopefully another fire doesn't happen. That looked like it hit our city, but nothing's on fire, so I don't think it hit anything. I'm not seeing anything anywhere else. No fires. Looks like it's actually over already. That was a quick thunderstorm. Oh, it hit this. So I think I actually want to implement transit now. And I'm thinking, since we have both trams and buses, we're not going to do ferries since I don't think this river's wide enough to put a ferry line in, and I don't think we have any need for it in the first place. Well, that's interesting. We have shipping lines that come right up in here. I mean, it makes sense. It already has quay walls on here. But we do have trams, we have trains, and we have taxis, so I think I want to implement all three. Actually, I don't know if I want to do taxis just yet, but I want to do trams and buses. So first things first, let's get the trams out of the way. Alright, so I've added in the first tram line, and this one is actually going to be expanding as the city grows, and just kind of as it makes sense to go down the line, and yeah. And a part of that is I actually readjusted this road over here. Instead of it going straight and dead-ending into it, it kind of curves into it. And the reason I'm thinking for that is because if way in the future, when we get trains and railroads, we can convert this segment into a bridge, raise it up a little bit more, and pass this road under. So that's why I did that over here. But we got a lot done for the tram network. We are going to have to finish this out. We don't need this tram here because I believe it has a capacity of 90, which is way over. I believe the smallest capacity we have is 65. I'm going to want to change the color to be a monochrome color because it's only going to be in one direction, and one of the themes I want to have in this particular map is opposite directions on the same route be opposite colors on the color wheel. And so if there's no opposite direction, then just keep it monochromatic like this. Alright, so I lowered the number of trams to 4, although we have, holy cow, that is a lot of people at that one stop over there. But I lowered the number of... Wow, everybody wants to get to the commercial area. I lowered the number of trams to 4 since we only have 3 stops. At least in my mind, once things are going good, there will be at least 1 tram at a stop at a time with 1 in transit to the next. At least that's how I envision it. So let's go ahead and start working on a bus route. Alright, so I've got a couple bus routes down here as well. I've color coordinated them as on top of that. Oops. So you can kind of see I brought it down this way and around over here, so it covers by the high school, by the low income areas on both sides of them, right into the industry, and right into the, what's it called, the other neighborhood over here. And they both have a common place here where they have to walk by the town center or town hall area, so that way they can get to the tram to get to the commercial. And so if you notice during the time lapse, I actually turned this road right here into a bus only road, and that is actually for a very good reason. It's because I was thinking at some point we're going to need to pull our traffic of the industry away from this interchange, and I wanted to put the warehousing somewhere over here where it's far enough away that when the warehouse needs to export, it doesn't use this interchange. It'll want to use another interchange that I'll either make on this bend, or if need be, even a little bit farther down, depending on how the tiles work out when I purchase them. I'd want it to be closer to one of those, that it goes that way, but I don't want it so far away or so far over here that the industry uses this interchange anyways to get to the warehousing. So if I put it over here, then the industry will automatically want to use this road right here, since it is the furthest over, it'll be the shortest route. So I made this bus only, so that way it has to use instead this road over here or this road over here. But I think we're going to be working on our industry next time. I know we have a demand and we might want to hit the next milestone, but I believe traffic is going to start breaking down here pretty soon. So we've got buses, we've got trams, and the tram network can be extended. And we can go and we can always add more bus networks to this, just to add more transport, public transport. It's really neat, I think. I think we're doing really well. And as you can see, this tree plantation was just complaining about not enough buyers for goods. That means that we'll either need to expand our generic forestry industry over here, or add some kind of processing like a sawmill or something, or add warehousing as well, so that way they can always send to the warehouse. But I think that's going to be something for next time. I think I'm actually happy with where we're at now, and I think I'm actually pretty happy with this. I'm happy with where we're at. I'm happy with how things are starting to look. I think next time, once we buy the tile, add in the warehousing, and try and get our traffic under our own control, things will start to look pretty good. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.